Crash Bandicoot 4 is officially announced, and it's about time. Joining us for this story is Drew from Game of Thumbs. Thanks for jumping on board this week.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, we are happy to have you. So Crash Bandicoot is finally getting another entry to follow up the original trilogy. Crash Bandicoot has had more than 4 adventures, so the numbering is a little confusing. Camilo, what were you saying about, like, this is going to be...
This is actually the 8th main installment in the series.
Wow.
But
so they're doing, like, a little, like, retconning?
Yeah, it's like a reboot to this point, I guess.
Okay.
To after 3.
So you can buy your Insane Trilogy and your number 4, and you'll be okay.
Yeah.
All right, so now that that's out of the way, let's just jump right in and talk about what is our experience with the Crash franchise. I'm going to go first, and my first experience with Crash Bandicoot was on the Game Boy Advance. I think it's like The Huge Adventure or something like that. It's got like an ironic title. And I really liked that game a lot. I thought it had really good platforming, and I beat the heck out of it. And it was tons of fun. It had the, like, kind of like 3D sprites kind of a thing. And I'm a huge Donkey Kong Country fan, so, like, anytime you do that in a 2D environment, I'm like, oh yeah, let's rock. So I really like that. But then, fast forward 20 years and they released the Insane Trilogy, and I get that on my PS4, and I just can't. Maybe it was too hard, maybe I'm not a good enough gamer, I don't know. But it didn't resonate with me. I didn't like it at all compared to all the other platformers that, like, I've played in my life. I just was like, is this fun? Is this dated? Like, I just couldn't figure it out, and it just didn't click with me. So
I agree. I think it feels dated when you play it. Like, I played my first experience was the Insane Trilogy, and I only played the first one. And I don't think I played that much of it because it's not. I don't think it's good. I don't think the platforming's good. It's like this 3D environment, but it's like this weird 2D platforming, and your jumps are all wonky. Like, they have to be perfect, like pixel perfect, or you're not gonna land on the platform. You could, like, I remember this one level where you're trying to go up like a tree, and then I just kept falling down, like, all the way down. I would get up and fall all the way down, and I'm like, this isn't fun. I can play other platformers. And I also I did play Crash Team Racing, which is, the Mario Kart-esque game, and I don't think that's good either. So maybe I just don't like Crash Bandicoot.
Crash is not for you.
No.
Camilo, what do you think about Crash?
So I've played all the original ones on, like, the original PlayStation, and I really like those. I've played a few of, like, the PS2 ones. I think it was like Twin Sanity and The Wrath of Cortex. I haven't played the remake trilogy yet. I always see it on sale, and I'm like, oh, I want to play it, I should get it, and then I just never get around to it. But I want to play it eventually. I like Crash. I like Jak and Daxter more than Crash, but Crash is fun. And I think this looks...
Wait, Crash was made by
it's the
Naughty
same
Dog
company,
as well,
yeah,
right?
Naughty Dog, yeah.
But now Activision owns Crash.
Yeah.
Right. And it's made by Toys for Bob, which is the guys who did, like, Skylanders, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Fun facts.
I don't really get the title. Is it like literally about
It's about time travel. Yeah, it has to be
Okay.
about time travel.
It's
the
a
way
pun
I
because
read
you can read it both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, like how is it about time? Because we've had a lot of Crash games. Like, it's not like we got
when
the
was
last
the last one, though? It's probably the 360 era, right?
Yeah, but, like, they're painting this like the last one was the third one on PS1. If they're calling it 4.
Well, maybe it's like it's about time that a true sequel comes out for the third one.
Well, I think this is a spoiler, but, like, I think at the end of the third, like, you send the villain or whatever back in time or something like that. So he's had all this time to plot his revenge is like the deal. And it's kind of funny because it's a play on words, and it's been so long since there's been a follow-up to that game, so I guess that's what they were going for, but I don't know.
I thought it was kind of clever. I enjoyed it. The double meaning.
Yeah, I get it from like an outsider's point of view, but I also can see what.
I guess I was just salty that they're saying it's about time, and Jack and Daxter have got literally nothing. Crash has 8 games.
But Jack and Daxter isn't owned by Activision. I feel like if Jack and Daxter was a different developer than Naughty Dog, that they would have made another Jack and Daxter.
I think that Jack and Daxter's not dead, but we're talking about Crash. So I think we'll get one, but that's just my opinion. So has everyone spoke on their experience with Crash? Drew, did you get a chance?
I've not. My experience with Crash has been kind of, I guess, on and off. I'm still fairly new to it. I'm gonna age myself when I say this, but my first experience with Crash was sitting inside a Pizza King back when they had the game consoles hooked up to the little TV that you'd play with a quarter. And I remember playing Crash 1 and not liking it. And then later on, there's like a segment in Uncharted 4 where Nathan Drake sits in his living room and plays Crash. And it's pretty much just how it controls and everything from the old graphics and everything. And I remember playing it and I was like, oh yeah, Crash Bandicoot. Like, yeah. And then they announced this insane trilogy and everything. So I got it. But kind of like what you and John were saying, Phil, like I had a very similar experience. It has like it feels like an old game with a new coat of paint, and it's the controls. Man,
it definitely has a learning curve. Like I remember having a lot of trouble as a kid playing it.
I almost think though, like dare I say, the charm of it though is that it's supposed to be frustrating and like you need to master it and then you feel really good about yourself, I guess is the idea. But I just don't have enough patience, I guess, for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
have
from
you
what
seen that turtle bridge.
Yes. And like when you were talking about that and like the tree, I know exactly what you're talking about. But and looking at this 4th installment, well, I guess the 8th installment, it definitely looks more of the same. I mean, it looks prettier, and hopefully there's something better with the controls. But like watching, there's another video they put up with the actual gameplay, and it looks very, very similar. So, which I guess is like good because it honors the series and it's true to form, but still.
Yeah, I think they're like making this like as a return to form because like. If you look at like what was Crash 4, like they changed it a little bit. It doesn't play exactly like how the originals played. This is supposed to be more like the original.
Was the original Crash 4 fun, and now they're returning to form by making them bad?
It was a little. It was like similar gameplay, but it felt a little more open. It wasn't like narrow pathways.
Yeah.
Like the area felt a little bigger.
I always found it odd that you're running towards the camera sometimes. That always trips me out. Like on the boulder chases or whatever.
I almost prefer that to the side scroll sections though. Side scroll sections make me nuts. But yeah.
So I guess my next question is this what you expected from a current generation Crash game? A return to form and not sort of like a reboot like we've got with most franchises that are from the PS1, PS2 era. When they come to PS4, they're like, rebuilt from the ground up. And this sort of seems like, hey, here you go. Here's number 4 in the PS1 games.
So I think what happened was the Insane Trilogy sold really well.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, people must like these games, so let's just make another one. But I, as Drew was saying, like I would like to see a change in the mechanics a little bit, make it smoother, make it not as. When I played through the sections that I played through, like you had to be perfect pretty much in order to, complete the level. So I hope they give a little bit more give, like you could little more room to screw up before actually failing completely.
Mm-hmm. And I would say that gamers now are, not. How do I phrase this? Like, they're a little bit more soft than gamers of like the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. Like, games were hard back then.
Yeah, but there was a reason for that. It was because you would only play one game for like 6 months. Yeah. Now you have games coming out constantly that the games don't have to be that hard in order to like satisfy somebody.
That's true.
This is kind of exactly what I expected, I guess, for a fourth installment, just because of, like John was saying, the Insane trilogy, sold really well. It kind of revived the character, and then they did, the Crash team racing and everything. So I think like people like it's on everyone's radar. So it makes sense why they're putting another game out. I definitely think there's a fan base for it and community for it, obviously. So I think people who really enjoy Crash games are going to be really excited. It's but I think that there's nothing wrong with improving the mechanics, and like the best example I can give is like playing Super Mario Odyssey felt like I was playing Mario 64 but with way better mechanics and controls. And that like I didn't if they're going for like, oh yeah, it feels like you're playing a Crash game, like it doesn't have to feel like I'm playing like Crash on PS1. It can feel like Crash on a new generation. But
right,
yeah,
here's hoping for that, definitely. What about you, Camilo? Is this what you expected?
Yeah, like you could say like the other argument is like people like how Crash works, and like if they change it, it's like not Crash, or like it doesn't work the same, or like they babied it or like babyfied it too much. So I mean, I get the like, oh, if it's hard, people just like change out the disc and play something else. But
they
I don't know.
already got
It's like a tough. It's like a tough.
Yeah, they already got money.
Yeah.
What I don't understand, why isn't there a Switch version?
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
Because it seems like they already had, the Insane Trilogy is on everything, and I would imagine they built this in the same engine. So, like, why not announce Switch just even at a later date like they did? Because it was a delayed release for Switch anyway. Just say PS4, Xbox, and then later Switch.
But even like the Insane Trilogy and the CTR, like there was a deal with PlayStation that they couldn't release it on other platforms for a year, so it didn't come to Xbox right away. I don't think either. I might be thinking about that wrong, but
I don't remember that. But you could be right.
So maybe it's just a matter of time.
Tweaked. I mean, he doesn't look exactly the same.
Oh, Drew coming in with the jokes,
with the puns.
There we go. Yeah, it could just be a matter of time.
I mean, the Insane Trilogy had to sell well on the Switch, right? I mean, I don't know the numbers, but I'm sure that it sold well. I mean, I downloaded it, but
yeah, that's like the perfect platform for something like that.
Yeah.
They need to consult with me before making these decisions. I don't know.
It's true. There needs to be like a game pack consulting.
Yeah.
Before final
new
delivery.
Service.
We should change this from a YouTube channel to just a consulting firm.
Playtest all the games.
All right. Well, I am not excited for Crash 4. I'm not quite sure how to wrap this up. I'm not that excited. It looked very pretty. I will say that. It looked extremely pretty, and I'm excited for all the Crash fans. I am not one of them.
Thank you again to Drew for hosting with us this week. If you'd like to check out his content, all of his information is in the description below. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you all next time.